Okay. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. It is 6:38 on July 26th, 2021. We are meeting remotely from our homes, not in any accordance with any state rules right now. So, and I like saying that. So, all right. Those in attendance are Diane Cohen, Frank Malisi, Melissa Scartesi, Audrey Flanagan, Brian Frizzetti, Joan Frizzetti, Maddie Story, and Dory Jameson. Did I leave anybody out? Okay.
Nope.
Diane.
Yes?
Hey, Diane. If you're doing a reorg, I believe that Dory actually has to open the meeting.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was going to tell Madam Chairwoman that I would head the meeting. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, go ahead. You guys know better than I.
Yep. Okay. So as Brian said, reorganization of the Recreation Commission. So I will head the meeting and I will ask if there are any nominations for chair.
So I'll make a nomination for chair for Diane Cohen.
I'll second that.
So, okay. Motion and second. All in favor? Any discussion?
I could go
all
on.
In favor.
I won't.
All in favor of Diane Cohen as chair person, say aye.
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 I'm going to abstain.
Aye.
Aye.
Weird to vote for yourself. All right.
Well, you should have asked you if you wanted to accept it, first of all, before we voted on what.
Right? Do I know? I know. And again.
No,
it was either her or you,
right
Joan. It was one of the two. I was going for either one of you.
No, not me.
Yeah, we went right over that.
Not at this stage of the game.
All right, move on.
Okay, so that's unanimous. So are there any nominations for vice chair?
I will nominate, oh gosh.
Nominate someone. Say someone.
Okay.
How about Melissa?
Okay, go ahead, Joan. Nominate Melissa.
I nominate Melissa.
Are there any
nominations?
Okay.
Or Frank, I don't care. All right, yep.
So are there any other nominations for vice chair before we move on?
Does Melissa, do you want to be vice chair?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. All in favor of Melissa Scartesi as vice chair, please say aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. I now hand the meeting over to you, Madam Chairwoman.
Don't we need a secretary? No.
Oh, you want to vote? Vote secretary. Oh, sure. Okay. I'm asking for any nominations for the position of secretary.
Audrey or Frank, would you like to be the secretary? Audrey?
Sure.
I would not be a good secretary.
Okay.
It's not much to it. Dory is amazing, so I can vouch.
But just in case, you need a backup. I just want to have a backup, okay? So I'm nominating Audrey Flanagan.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Is there any other nominations for secretary? Hearing none, all in favor of Audrey Flanagan as secretary, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Unanimous. Are there any other offices? Is that it? Just secretary? Okay. All right. I'm handing the meeting over to you, Madam Chairwoman.
Oh, thanks. All right. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from June 20th, the open session minutes. Does anybody have any questions on those?
I do actually. So on the second vote for the 2 additional caretakers for administrative assistance, I abstained from that vote because I know one of the
right.
I know one of the people that were there. So it shows as a 6-0, but it should actually be 601.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Okay. Was there anything else? Because that was the only thing. I do remember that because I spoke to Renee about it.
Sorry,
yep.
Was this the June 21st or the June 20th meeting?
June 21st.
Oh, okay. On the
On the thing, it says June 20th.
yeah, I was just okay.
On the agenda, it says June 20th, but the actual minutes say June 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. June 21.
Okay. All set there. Anyone want to make a motion then? So what are we making a motion for? To amend the minutes?
Approve the minutes as amended.
As amended. Okay.
So the minutes themselves have on for a date, June 21 or June.
Yeah, the minutes actually have the 21st. They're right.
Okay, so they're all right. Okay.
Yes.
That's all we needed to know. I already filed mine away, so.
Very efficient.
You're on top of it, Joan. Would anyone like?
I'm just trying to get to July, to the 22's minutes. So that's why I closed everything off from 21.
You could have been secretary, Joan.
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to make a motion to accept the amended minutes from June 20th, 2021?
So moved.
Thank you.
21st.
June
I'm
21.
sorry?
Yeah.
June
21st.
21st,
Yeah.
21, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it right.
And it's, anybody second it?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I wasn't, Dory, I wasn't there, so I'm abstaining.
Right.
Correct. Thank you.
And Ryan Smith isn't here either. So obviously you can't vote. Okay. So next item on the agenda is Anita Kainu, a wedding refund request. She booked a wedding on 10/1/2021, and she's been very vocal about wanting a refund. And Dory, I'm going to let you do this because you've spoken to her, and I know she called while you were away as well, and I chose not to speak with her about it, but I think you need to tell the commission about it.
Yeah, and I've spoken to her since then. So the situation is Anita Canoe booked a wedding on October 3rd, 2020. And then COVID hit, and we have correspondence from her to, it was actually Billy back in July of 2020. And she's asking, I have emails asking if she can switch the date. And the response is, yes, we certainly have these dates available. And Anita responds, I would like to change my date for the wedding based on the whole restriction of October. She says, I would like to do October 1st. And Billy responds, okay, this is back July 2020. We have you on the calendar. We will send out a new page for you to sign. So we put her on the calendar. We held the date. We sent out the new page for her to sign. She didn't sign the page or send it back. So a few months ago, she calls and said she wants a refund due to COVID. But what she did was not ask for a refund in 2020. She asked for a rebooking, which we did. And she's now saying, but I didn't sign that agreement, so it's not valid. So I want my the refund. And the refund is in the amount of $2,500.
She can get the difference back except for the, what is it? How much she has to put down.
Admin
it says
fee.
right on it, not refundable amount. So
Right. 50% non-refundable deposit is due at the time of booking.
Right.
I would say that she can rebook. I would say that she can get another day, but not a refund.
Right. She does, but she doesn't want another day.
Right.
And if she booked, when did she book this?
In 2019, I believe, right?
Yeah, in September of 2019, she booked a wedding for October of 20. And then
okay.
Yep. And then in July of 2020, she said, can I move it to October 1 of 2021? And we said, oh, sure. And then a few months ago, she said, I don't want that wedding date anymore. I want a refund. And I said, well, we've held the date because you asked for it, and you asked for it. You didn't ask for it in 19. You didn't ask for a refund. You asked for a reschedule, and that's what you got. So she's saying, but I didn't sign the agreement. Well, that's true. We sent it out to you. You never signed it and sent it back.
But she did sign an original agreement.
She signed an original agreement, and I have an email from her saying, okay, I would like to do October 1st. So we put her on the calendar for October 1st and blocked it off for any other applicants.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Brian Frizzetti has his hand up.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Diane. As far as the contracts go, she agreed to the initial contract. She then changed it to another date, which, like Dory said, she has an email to. At this point, I would be more, I would probably agree to give her the 50% of the, well, it says 50% of non-refundable deposit is due at the time of the booking. So I think she should lose her 50%.
I agree with that.
I agree
Yep.
also.
I do.
I mean, she's just asking now. We were very flexible with COVID, and we had a policy that said, you know, if you can't, hi, Mr. Weeks, that said, if you do not, you know, if you choose, if all of a sudden you decide, you know, to have a small wedding and you no longer need the big wedding anymore, then if we rebook your date, we would give you your deposit back. And we actually did that with some people because, you know, COVID caught everybody by surprise. But this isn't about that. This isn't her, you know, she just decided to either change the date or not get married.
The other thing too is, isn't the email that Dory has sent confirming the October date? I mean, Dory's email is a public record, right? I mean, that's considered a legal.
Public document. Yeah.
You're right.
Yes.
And I was just about to say that, Madam Chairman, you're exactly right. On July 16th, she said, okay, so based on the whole restriction of a normal reception, I would like to change my date for the wedding. She didn't say, I would like a refund because of COVID. So we changed her date. And so we did what she asked. And so now, 3 months later, she's talking COVID. Once the restrictions were lifted, then she wants a refund. Well, you know.
No, I'm sorry. Frank?
Dory, is her date still booked?
Sorry, Frank, you have your hand up?
Yeah. So Dory, on the original contract that she signed back on 10/21/2019, how much was the security deposit? Was that the $2,500 for the security deposit?
Correct.
Okay. So the 25. Okay. So we would have to refund her 2,500. That's what we're talking about, right?
Correct.
No.
Okay.
No, we security deposits are non-refundable.
Right. In the agreement, Frank, in our agreement, it says your deposit, your 50% deposit is non-refundable.
On the agreement that she signed back in 2019, it was the same thing though. So, I mean, it is what it is. She signed it right there. Even if she didn't sign the second contract, she still signed the first one. So she can either rebook or she can lose her security deposit, I guess.
Right. Audrey, go ahead.
Dory, is the October, the date for this year, is that still in her name? Is that still in the calendar under her name?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I feel like we should tell her that, you know, that her function is booked. She can choose to have her wedding or she can choose to lose her deposit.
Yep.
It's October. Nobody's going to book that for a wedding. And it's a shame really, because we had plenty of people that wanted that date.
Right.
You know, and we didn't book it because of her.
Right.
So no, she does not get her deposit back, I think. So, Frank?
Would you like me to make a motion on this?
I would like to entertain a motion to keep the deposit for Kim. I think it's Kim, is it?
Anita.
Anita. Yeah. For the 10/1/2021 wedding. Go ahead, Frank, make your motion.
So moved. Yeah. That makes sense. I was going to say, just deny the refund request.
To deny it. Thank you.
Brian Fazzetti has his hand up.
Brian?
Diane, for the remainder of meetings, since we're back at Zoom, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Thank you. Yep. So Frank made a motion. Would anyone like to second that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. All those in favor, Melissa Scartesi?
Aye.
Frank Alisi?
Aye.
Audrey Flanagan?
Aye.
Joan Flanagan? I'm Joan Frazzetti.
Aye.
All these F's on my screen. Joan Frazzetti?
Aye.
Brian Frazzetti?
Aye.
And Diane Cohen is an aye. So it's unanimous. I'm sorry, you know, she can write the letter and everything. I know she's threatened to come to a Board of Selectmen meeting, but Since we have one of the Board of Selectmen here, Joe, you'll at least know what we're speaking about.
So she should bring her signed contract that says everything that she just said. Would probably be a better piece of evidence for her to prove her case, I guess.
Right. Okay. So that takes care of that. Next on the agenda is discussion and vote on purchase of cots. Okay. So Dory, I don't know if I'm ever going to let you go on vacation again. Like, I'm not even joking. Okay? So we had a very busy 2 weeks while Dory wasn't here. And I want to thank Maddie and all the caretakers, which I've already sent out thank yous upon thank yous upon thank yous for stepping up. And I know that Audrey, you've been there and I was there. I know people were on vacation. Frank, you came up. It was busy. And I know that everybody's heart was there. And Joan, I'm really glad you're feeling better. And Brian, I hope your life is less stressful now that your mother and brother are good. That being said, we have UMass Worcester, I should say, medical school coming in August. They wanted to know how many beds were there. And we did not have enough beds in the cabins to host 206 campers. Metal beds have broken, they've been rusted, mattresses have been damaged, etc. So most of you know that I made a decision. I considered it an emergency because our meeting could not take place because we didn't have a quorum. Too many people were out, and then tried to have another meeting. We couldn't have it. I'm very sorry. You could have had it without me. I wouldn't have minded. And I was in no frame of mind to have that. And by the way, thank you, everybody. I do appreciate the fact that all of your condolences. And Audrey, again, I can't believe you showed up. So thank you so much. I do appreciate that. So I made a decision to order cots because I was afraid we would not have any when UMass showed up due to COVID orders being backed up because of COVID. So I ordered 50 cots and we have received them. I guess the caretakers, everybody said they're good cots. Everybody likes them. We are able to have UMass in. The cots purchased were, I believe, at $55 a piece. They hold up to 400 pounds. And they looked very sturdy. They got great reviews. I showed them to Frank. I showed them to Audrey. I showed them to Melissa. And I showed them to Brian Smith as well. I didn't just make this decision on my own. So Brian, you were tied up at the hospital with your mom. So that is why, Joan, I didn't send them to you because you were in the hospital. And Brian, I knew, had a lot on his plate. So we ordered the cots through Amazon. They've come. They cost $2,750, I believe, which we ordered 50 of them. We can now handle everybody that's coming from UMass Worcester. And that 2 days alone, those 206 campers, I believe, are paying us $3,500. And so they've been paid for simply by having this group here.
I think they come with storage bags too, right, Diane? Each one?
They do come with storage bags.
Yeah.
So our intention right now, we have in the South End, every cabin has the appropriate amount of wooden beds with a mattress, clean mattress. In the North End, there are some wooden bunks, some wooden beds, some metal ones, and probably I'd say 3/4 of them or 2/3 maybe have a mattress. Any other space that is sleeping space in a cabin will be filled with a cot. The cots can be easily stored in their bags. And if we ever have another outing like this again, we can certainly use them. And if someone prefers to have a cot, we can rent them a cot. And if anything happens to it during the rental of the cabin, we keep the security deposit. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody.
Brian Frazzetti has his hand up.
Thank you. I can't see any hands. Just
That's all right. I'll tell you.
Thank you. Okay, Brian, go ahead.
Just two quick things. The first one's very easy. Where are the cots being stored right now?
Dory, do you know?
They're being stored. Yes, they're being stored in the old firehouse. They're under lock and key.
On Fezzies.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Okay,
In their bag.
In their bag. Yeah, right now they're still in their boxes, but I opened one and yeah, they're beautiful. They're perfect. They have a little pocket and there's no assembly required. You just unfold them. It has a bag, lightweight, comfortable. They're really nice, really nice.
Well, I had looked at them for a while, about, a couple of months ago, anticipating that we might need something. And then they went on sale as whatever Amazon does on sale and special price.
Yeah, they did this.
Yeah, so I said, that's when I called Frank and Brian and everybody. I said, look, we can get these cheaper now, because originally they were 70. So now they were 55. And I thought,
Brian has his hand up.
So go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not a problem. Okay, now, not that I like going through legal counsel or whatever, but could there be, even including this rental coming up for UMass, can there be a contract drawn up on those cots? That way, if there's any damage done to them, they're broken or whatnot, that they will pay for them?
Okay.
And that would be with a regular rental too. If someone wants to rent a cot, we should probably have somebody signing away every time they get them. That way, if they break them, they have to pay for them.
Right. Well, I was going to ask Maddie about that for future rentals, because she's the Google document person, or Audrey. I'll do it for school, but really I hate doing it any other time. So with the cabin, with individual rentals, it's easy, because if they do rent the cot, it'll come with the cabin, but there's a $200 security deposit on the cot and the cabin. So we can sort of lump those two together for $200. But Dory, maybe you can answer. Did UMass give us a security deposit as well as the rental?
Yeah, we have a security deposit in the amount of $1,000 in a bank certified check. And we have the $3,500 already they paid for their upcoming stay. Okay.
So we can add to their contract, possibly. Maybe you could send her an email.
Isn't it already covered though?
Would we need to?
Yeah.
Because it says damage to the cabins in the contract, correct? Right. Damage to the cabins or the
they would lose
as a whole.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. I don't know, but Brian's right. We should check with the wording in the contract, so that maybe when we do update that, we can include language that says the structure as well as any
furniture or whatever.
Property belonging to the camp within the structure.
Yeah.
So
when are they supposed to be coming? I'm sorry.
Next Wednesday.
August 3rd.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. So Dory, also the fire department has asked that you share the Google Calendar, the event calendar with them. I know that you share it with the police, but the fire department would very much like it. They came up during the time of the Boy Scouts, and they saw so much activity at the camp, and they were unaware that the Boy Scouts were there. So I did speak with Rob O'Brien, I believe. And he just said, so if they ever had that many people at the camp and they didn't know about it and something happened, they were called up there, they would have only sent one person when they may have needed more than that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense.
So please share that with them. I know you share it with the police.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you might want to talk to Greer about getting the invoice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just so you know, caretakers, everybody, we do have an Amazon account through the town, and Greer is in charge if we let her know what we need. We just let her know, she orders it, we get the bill, and then we would pay the town would pay Amazon. Okay? Who's vacuuming?
Not me.
Well, it better not be you, Joan. Okay. Is there any further discussion on Cots? Okay, then
So it says that, Madam Chairwoman, discussion and vote on purchase of Cots. So if you wouldn't mind just I know it's after the fact, but if you wouldn't mind just taking a vote on that.
Okay, it is after the fact, so I wasn't sure. Sorry.
Yeah, just, well, it was
We
an
still
emergency.
had to vote on it.
You know,
Okay.
you don't
So,
want it to come back and bite you.
so I hope, well, gee, then I hope it passes. Okay.
I may have set you up.
So, hello? Oh, can you hear me, Dory?
Yeah, you're good.
Can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I would like to entertain a motion for Camp Kiwanee to purchase a total of 50 cots through Amazon to meet the needs of outings that we have this summer.
So moved.
Thank you, Audrey. Anyone want a second?
Second.
Thanks, Joan. All those in favor, Melissa Scartesi,
Aye.
Frank Malisi,
Aye.
Joan Frizzetti,
Aye.
Audrey Flanagan,
Aye.
Brian Frizzetti,
Aye.
and I am an aye. Okay.
That
So
was a leap of faith.
just on a point there, Diane, I don't know if we have, and this might be a good question for Joe as well. I don't know if we have any procedures for kind of these emergency situations and how we can kind of go a better way of doing them other than you just, texting everybody and saying, I need to do this. Is there a way that we can, so is there a way that, we can say, this is an emergency. Dory might be able to send an email out to everybody, and then we can send an email to like the board of selectmen or something just to get like a second eye on it. If we can't get a vote in between the emergency happening and the next meeting that we have. I don't, I'm just trying to brainstorm ways of that actually being possible. I don't know if that's possible.
Right. I don't know.
Brian has his hand up, so.
And maybe Dory or Joe Weeks or Brian, maybe one of you knows something about that. So Brian, go ahead.
I would think that if we're ever stuck into a position like this, it doesn't have to go as far up as a board of selectmen. Your town administrator is a procurement officer and also is responsible for authorizing purchases within the town. So I would say it would go from, we'll say the chair over to Dory. We can, obviously be left in the loop, and then from Dory right to the town administrator.
Oh, and just so you know, I did contact Lisa because that's how I knew Greer had to do everything. So
right, generally you want to go through your AA though, because your AA is kind of your go-between for everything.
Right, and normally I would have
if she's available.
Right, if she's right. Believe me, that would have been my preferred method. But yeah, that was quite a 2 weeks. So I don't know if we need something in our policies, or if we need to check with anybody on that, or if we need something just within the commission that says we'll go that route in an emergency.
Yeah.
Go
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Dory.
No, I defer to you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, in an emergency is just that by its nature, it's an emergency. So if that's something that the commission feels they need, and you run it past the chief procurement officer of the town, and you get that okay, that really does satisfy it.
Okay, so there's no like, I mean, emergency would, wasp at the beach, almost getting it. Like if we didn't have the costs, we wouldn't be able to fulfill the contract for the camping and things like that. I looked through some of the committee laws and everything like that, the regulations that we have, and there's nothing that like defines an emergency in there. I know like we're kind of a special municipality other than everybody else, so we have some other things. Probably popped up a lot more here than before. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay. Anybody else? Are there any other hands up?
Yeah, my only 2 cents were that, I kind of echo what Brian and Dorothy were saying. So I think, you have a procurement officer, and, as a board, this body can determine essentially, within reason what an emergency is. And there are some safety nets put in place in case there's excessive spending or something along those lines. But general emergencies that need to be taken care of right away, I agree with what's already been stated. But there's nothing wrong with taking a look at current bylaws and rules and regulations to determine if there's a better way of doing it. So there's always the opportunity to kind of revise some of these things. But the current modality for, resolving these is exactly what Brian said.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll do that. We can look at it if we think, because I don't know what other kind of an emergency may or may not happen. It may not involve procurement. I don't know. But we can certainly take a look at it in the future, because
Diane, I would think probably maybe an emergency would be like a facility thing too. I mean, if we had to if there was a hole in the roof, or we had to get someone to,
happen.
It happens all the time. But emergencies like that, like if a tree falls on the lodge, God forbid, it's like that kind of stuff.
All right. I'm not speaking life to that right now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not giving life to those thoughts. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to move on. Discussion on red hot deals. So this comes from a conversation Dory and I have had, and Audrey and I have had, and Melissa and I have had. I mean, everybody's had it, I think. Dory, do you want to, or Audrey, do you want to talk about red hot deals, like advertising open dates and such?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. I'll defer to you, Audrey, if you want to speak on it. It's up to you.
You go right ahead, Dory.
Okay. Yeah, we were just talking, as it gets closer on the calendar, and then sometimes you just find these open dates, and it's like, wow. And I think that if you just put the thought process out there, if we put on Facebook, you're not even going to believe what's available at Camp Kiwanee. In October, we have this and this, and, it just became available. So, you can get it for this, and people will read that and go, oh, want to do that? Let's do it. So we're thinking just sending that out every time we have any openings on the calendar, make it like, wow, this is unbelievable. This is actually available at this late stage of the game. You could, first come, first serve. So act quick. And I think that will help, get us sell our dates that aren't sold. And I think people will love it, because I'm telling you, people will love it, because we are now turning people away, on dates. It's just so crazy. So I think it's a win-win. So we just have to put something in place, a policy that we just send it out maybe monthly, quick, next month, this month, that type of thing.
Frank,
book now. This is available.
Yeah, so I had a question. I mean, it's a great idea to get rid of, to kind of fill those open spots that are there. How far in advance were you thinking? Because I don't know, birthday party, like weddings probably wouldn't do a 2-month notice for something I think as expensive as the camp. But how far in advance are you thinking?
Well, we do 3 months out as far anything other than a wedding. I'm sorry, Madam Chair, through you. Anything other than a wedding. We will only book 3 months out. We'll save it for a wedding. And when it becomes 3 months, we're like, okay, no one's going to book a wedding now. So I'm thinking the 3-month mark, we put it out on whatever those vacant available dates are, put it out, and say it's available, because it is available, because it's totally available to anybody. We won't, if it's 4 months out and somebody wants to book a birthday party, we won't. We'll save it for a wedding, because you never know, So I'm thinking 3 months to long story to answer your question, Frank.
Okay, Audrey?
I agree with that. And Maddie and I were talking yesterday too. We were looking at the calendar, and December is wide open. There's nothing happening in December, and we historically decorate the lodge for Christmas. We put the tree up. We do all kinds of great decorations. And we think that within the next month or so, we should throw something out there saying we're now booking Christmas parties. Join us in our fully decorated lodge, for Christmas, but whatever, and start advertising for Christmas parties, because I think people are going to start thinking about that now that everybody can
congregate.
Yeah, exactly.
So Joan, go ahead.
Well, we contacted the fire department to see if they're going to do their normal Christmas thing, because that would be something that would be for December.
Right.
I know we're behind the 8 ball, but should we call them to find out if they're still going to put on their Christmas spectacular?
I think, we need to call them anyway. 2 things.
Yeah.
Joan, I want to address both things for the fire department on that in just a minute, though. Audrey and Frank and Dory and everybody, we have to call it something other than red hot deals if we're not changing the prices though.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's something to be considered. And we probably, Melissa, since you do the Facebook page, maybe we could have that monthly update of just, you know, here's what's available still at Camp Kiwanee. Remember, our non-busy season is 20% off. So book your event from blah, blah, blah to blah, blah, blah. I think we said November 1 through April 1, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And as far as the fire department goes, we do need to call them to see if they are having their pancake breakfast. If they are not, we want to see if they want to partner with us on Winter Wonderland. And we can do one, you know, hopefully we can do a whole one weekend of it so that people can have it for Friday and Saturday, and hopefully generate some interest, maybe with fewer restrictions than we had last year. I would still like to include the story part of that, but yes, we will get into that later. But yeah, we do need to call the fire department and also get them access to our calendar.
Brian has his hands up. Brian Pizzetti.
Ryan.
Yeah, on the off-season rentals, wasn't that just for weddings?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not on regular rentals or anything
No.
like that. It's going off of that.
Right. It is for weddings, and I did give a tour to somebody who from Wedding Wire, and she wanted November 4th. I believe it's a Friday, because we're already booked for November 5th now with Alan's granddaughter, right? And so she was very quick to say, oh, and it's 20% off of that, right? So people are looking at it, at least, you know, and that's good. So Maddie, did you have your hand up?
I was just gonna say, because I feel like you guys could still do your red hot deals, and Christmas or the holidays are kind of like a specialty thing that we could promote. Like, you could still do both if you wanted to. It doesn't have to just pertain to Christmas for your red hot deals if that's what your plan was. It sounds like that's like a 1 month out, we have these extra dates available situation, so we're discounting them, and the holidays could be its own promotion just to get people back.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'd be discounting them except for the 20% on the wedding though. So like if you had red hot deals and we have like a Sunday open or something like that, somebody comes in with a birthday party, they'd still, if I get it correctly, they would still be paying the full price of the lodge. They wouldn't be. So when I hear, that's kind of like, seems like a bait and switch to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a bait and switch.
That's why I don't want to call it a red hot deal. I want to call it, you know, what's still available, something like that. You know, or open dates, or have your function, here are the dates available, and you know, here's what's left, whatever. Something good, better than I could come up with. Joan?
I was just gonna say, change the word deals to dates, and that would take care of what you're talking about.
Oh,
that's simple.
That's perfect.
Just changing a word.
There you go. Yep.
Red hot dates. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, red hot dates. These dates are still available for your function. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if it was a wedding and someone wanted to throw together a wedding in 3 months, we would give them the 20% off, but not for anything else.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't know if we need a motion for that. It's just something we're going to start doing, correct?
Correct. No, I wouldn't need a vote on that. Thank you.
So Melissa, we'll be in touch with that to get it on the Facebook site. Maybe play around with whatever you play around with on Facebook for pictures and stuff like that.
I can schedule posts as well. Like I can do a schedule and schedule the posts, so I don't have to like think about it. I could just schedule them all up ahead and then
right. And do you have access to the event calendar? I believe you do.
Yeah.
Yep. And just check with Dory and everything.
Yeah, we'll make a list. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Audrey.
I was just going to say, I can create different themed flyers too for each month that we want to do. I can create, you know, like for the Christmas one, I can create a Christmas themed flyer that says these dates are open, book your party,
right.
You know, could do like a birthday theme or a bridal shower theme, you know, just
Valentine's, whatever.
Change it up. Yeah. Change it up a little bit every month just to get people thinking about what types of parties that they could have up there.
That'd be great. Frank?
So do we usually get a lot of bookings through that kind of winter period, or is it usually pretty slim?
Well, for the last obviously last year was slim.
Yep.
And not too many. I will say this. In December, there was always the firemen. In March, there was always the Hanson Business Network. In November, there was always the Historical Society. They always had their big dinners, things like that. Typically, no.
Would it make sense to try to get more people in by cutting the price for the other types of parties also? To have to fill in the lodge? I mean, well, I know like heating and everything like that would be expensive during the winter time. I don't know if it would be, fiscally responsible to do it that way. I don't know if it would be worth it. So.
Right. And that's something Dory and I were talking about. Maddie, did you want to jump in on this?
I was gonna say, yeah, January to April is really usually slow, but this is the only reason I brought up December that I was surprised is that usually our December is super packed because we've had consistent families usually come and like it's their yearly thing. And I think COVID like knocked that down a little bit last year. I don't know, like for January through April, it's like a random birthday party or a grad party, or it's really slim that we're going to get something, but December is still usually packed, which is why I'm surprised there's nothing in there.
Yeah, I mean, we can even extend the discount from January to April if we wanted to do that, and not include December in there, other than weddings. I don't know if it would drive more people to actually rent out the lodge on the weekends if we did that, and kind of have those red hot deals and be like, but 10% off of your birthday party on Sunday or something like that. I'm not sure, but just might be something to think of.
So that is something we should consider. And Dory, we were talking today about just with maintenance of the lodge, like not really booking out January, because maybe we should use that as a time to buff floors and fix the roof and get some major work done that might need to be done on the lodge. And for caretakers, I know January is not the favorite month to work outside in, but some of the maintenance on the cabins could even be done. New doors or whatever. So we were talking about that, and I wanted people to be thinking about it for later. I did reach out to the Hanson, is it the Council on Elders or the
Council on Aging?
Sorry. I went down there, and the person that runs it isn't there. I do have a voicemail back from her, and I will call her probably tomorrow. I was thinking maybe we start throwing more community events that way. Like we start sponsoring things like a trivia night or bingo or a Valentine's Day dance or, a luau for the elderly or, whatever, just for specific groups. In February, I'm hoping we do something during vacation. I know Ariana said she would come back and do the arts and crafts. And that way more people would sign up for it because they've had plenty of notice. So we do want to get some things in there. So I think if we put it on the next agenda for ideas, and if we think them through and present them at our next meeting about how to generate weekly events during the week, not necessarily weekends, it would be a good thing.
I love it.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So is there Joan?
I think Joan has a question.
Trivia is usually sponsored, I thought, by the library, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not sure. But usually trivia is that there is a trivia every year.
Okay, there's one like a trivia event once a year, right?
Right.
So I was thinking maybe a monthly trivia thing and kind of, book the bar and have teams. Maybe we could put out a prize, and I don't know. I don't know. All I remember is that Squire's Pub on 53 there, and they used to have trivia nights all the time. My daughter used to go because she's kind of geeky like that, and she loved it, and they're gone. And people might want another place to do it. I don't know. I don't know how it would fly. That's why I'm looking for things to do more on a recurring basis, not just once a year. I was thinking get people to the camp once a month during the week. Yes, Audrey.
So I think the trivia is just once a year. They usually do it in July. Maddie and I have been on a couple of champion teams for
nice
trophy and everything. So they do it once a year in July. But we could do like song trivia, like, you know, theme nights too, like, so it doesn't get boring where it's just like the same trivia. Right. And that Roger, who is doing the kayaks and the paddle boards, yep, he is involved. He used to do salsa dancing up there. Right. He is involved with a lot of different groups. He might be a really great resource for us for getting events in there, right, during the week, and helping us with that. He had mentioned that he would be happy to do.
I think that's a great idea. I'd like to maybe even do line dancing or something. Yep. But here's the thing. I don't want to get too into this now because it's not on the agenda. So what I would like is everybody to be thinking of some kind of thing, and we can put it on the agenda for the next meeting and maybe present something. Mm-hmm. Even if it's any kind of an event, like Kim, Brian's fiance, had this great idea for the to be outside and have a, what is it, laser tag, glow in the dark laser tag event. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Frank's eyes are like
adults versus kids. Can we do paintball too? We can do paintball. That'd be fun. Paintball? I like that idea. Yeah. Adults versus kids.
And I think, all right, you need therapy, Frank. And I think conservation might get a little upset with paintball, but laser tag would definitely be something we could do up there.
We'll just get organic paint. That'll be fine.
Okay. Well, these are things, and Brian, I would encourage you to invite Kim to the next meeting. So anyway, I think this is something we need to be thinking about in the future. So for now, we are going to do the Facebook Red Hot Deals, Red Hot Dates, excuse me. And Dory and you guys, Audrey and Melissa, you guys can coordinate on that.
Yeah, I think we have to do some incentive, like sign up by this date to get, your deal, whatever. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
For your wedding, or, if you're getting married soon, want to do it sooner,
Yeah. Yeah.
That. So we can talk about that. But for the next meeting, I'd like it if we could bring some ideas to the table about how to use the lodge and get more people in locally and on a regular basis. Okay. So the next item on the agenda was a caretaker report. So have at it, Maddie Story.
Okay. I'll just start. So I invited Maddie here, and I know Diane had said that she's invited caretakers to the meetings before, but Maddie and I we met this week, and we talked about like a playbook that was created for events. And I think there was just some transitional loss of information going from Lon to Dory. So we've been talking about that. And I also found that it was probably important to have a caretaker at our meetings Maddie's doing the scheduling now for the caretakers. And so she can listen in to hear what we're planning. We can give her ideas of what we, might want the caretakers to take care of during the week. And, she's here, just to, understand what we're thinking and what she needs to do for the week with the caretakers. So I just wanted to intro it that way. So Maddie, go for it.
Frank has his hand up.
Oh. Yeah, no. So I was just saying, Audrey, that's great, but more importantly, Maddie, we would like to see what we can do to improve the situation that you guys have down there as well. It's not just pushing stuff on you, but if you have something that you need that you think a process can change, feel free to bring it to Diane, as Diane makes the agenda. So bring it to Diane first, but Raleigh is for that too.
Melissa,
can we do like a caretaker report, since we do like a Dory report every meeting, like just make it a standard thing on the agenda?
I would like to.
That was what I had hoped would happen. With this.
Yeah.
When we had we're going to get into that with in a little bit regarding job description for caretaker and versus rec director versus we're going to get into all that. Joan, did you have something?
No, I was just going to say that I forgot now what I was going to say. But I mean, we don't need to schedule her every week. We could just schedule her once a month and she would give us the idea of what she felt needed to be done for the next month. And we can give her, I mean, but I think if we do it 1 month at a time, we'd be better off than having her have to go through all of this twice a month.
Well, if we schedule her at the beginning of the meeting, then she can come on and give her report. We can talk to her and then she can hop off and we're not wasting her night. Maddie agreed that it's important to be on these calls because there were some things that have been discussed. I know Dory was on vacation, but there was some communication breakdown based on our last meeting till, you know, what was on the schedule. I think we're smoothing it out. It's getting better. Maddie now has access to the calendar, so she knows exactly what's going on. So she can, you know, Dory was doing the scheduling, so Maddie didn't really need the calendar, but now, you know, we're making some small adjustments to help Maddie give her the tools that she needs to succeed.
Right. And it's important to do all that because, you know, it's not in Dory's job description.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we take off, and Dory, this is no, you know, you have nailed everything you've done since you've been here and it's been truly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
But even from a financial standpoint, we're paying Dory to do partially for the rec director position as it's described. And, you know, that's our budget too. So we need to figure all of this out as far as who's responsible for what and what it exactly takes to run events and schedule them and everything else.
Brian Frizzetti has his hand up.
So can I just let Maddie go though?
Yeah.
Brian
can go. That's okay.
Brian, go ahead.
This is about a 1 second thing. I would agree. I'd like to, if at all possible, have a year, and maybe, like you said, at the beginning of every meeting, just to give a quick report, because there could be some things, as Frank said, they need from us. There could be some things we need from them. And that way it's handled as quick as possible rather than waiting once a month to see what's going on around the camp.
Okay. I think so too. So I think right at the beginning, we can do it after the approval of minutes and move on. So now, Maddie, go ahead.
I'm not so I just wrote down like questions, I guess, to ask or things that we're trying to get done am I allowed to just talk? I don't know if it's the agenda or anything.
Mm-hmm, nope.
Why don't you report on anything?
Okay. Just stop me if I can't talk about it, I guess.
Go
ahead. So one of the things I had mentioned, I think to Diane and Audrey when I had seen them, was the craft cabin is full of recycling bins right now. We don't have a recycling dumpster anymore. And I just don't know the process of, it just doesn't make sense to keep, like, we have like 12 recycling bins and 2 massive ones, and they're just taking up a lot of space. The craft camp is in there right now. We could potentially move them to the basement, but I'm wondering, like, if we had a process or someone, like, I don't know if they have to go back to the dumpster company, but like, if it's not worth us moving them to the basement, if they can get taken away like next week, if it's a call that needs to be made, or they can get sold or something. We're losing it's good because we're utilizing a lot more buildings at the camp now. Like the craft cabin hasn't been used in years, but we're losing a lot of storage space. So I feel like it's time to start like purging some of the things that we don't use anymore, and we don't have a recycling bin to recycle anyway.
Can I ask,
Brian has his hand up.
Sorry, who do they
the one to go to on this will probably be Brian Smith. I don't know who owns the recycling container. Is it the current dumpster company that we have now?
I think it's the old one. I think it's Republic.
It's the old one. I'll talk to Brian, see if he'll give Republic a call, maybe have them pick those up. The reason why we stopped doing it is, one, there's nothing we really recycle. We don't do a lot of cardboard things. We're not a warehouse. If you use a glass bottle, it's not rinsed out, it's not recycling. You have to throw it in the trash. Pizza, the same thing as like pizza liners, it's trash. So that's kind of why Brian pulled that recycled dumpster away. If need be, he wanted to switch over to the small barrels, maybe get like 2 or 4 of them, put them around the dumpster area now. But unless there was an extreme need for him, he was going to pull away from that. Like, only because we don't have that warehouse, type of thing.
Okay. All right. So, Maddie?
I was gonna say this isn't like we need to bring recycling. That's not. I was just saying like I knew we didn't have them anymore, and it's fine because I understand that we weren't going through it as much. The only thing we usually recycle during events anyway is like if an event brings in cardboard boxes, which is just you never know when that's gonna happen, or like sometimes we recycle bottles, but the bar really takes the bottles, so they take them anyway. This wasn't like I'm desperate to bring them back. We have a lot of bins and we have no place
We
for
need
them.
the storage space. So Brian Smith will be called on this and he will figure out
Madam Chair, if I may,
what to do with them. Yes, go ahead, Dora.
Okay, just to let you know, Maddie, so those recycle bins have been moved to the basement of the north end bathhouse. So they're no longer, they haven't been in the craft cabin like this past week. So thank you. We did move those. So just so you're aware that, yeah,
okay.
they're out of the craft cabin.
Also, as a reminder, that arts and crafts that's going to be coming in August is going to use the arts and crafts building.
They have already
been using them this week.
So
yeah, they had
everything would have to be cleaned up for that anyway.
Okay,
that's why we moved them. Yeah.
Go ahead, Maddie. Go ahead.
I tried to call the alarm company this week twice, and I just got voicemails. I was trying to get the new caretaker set up with alarm codes. We don't really have a process to even get rid of. I don't know how we get rid of old codes. I don't know who still had, I don't know how any of that works. I set everyone up with the time punch machine. Right. That wasn't super complex to set up, but I don't know how to do the front door or the alarm codes. And I didn't know if someone knew how to streamline that process because none of the new caretakers have codes. So they can't open and close the building right now themselves, which is making scheduling tough when it's only 3 event caretakers trying to open and close the buildings.
So I think we need to allow them to use Dory, that code or share a code.
I gave me to use my code. Yeah.
Right.
I set up a couple of them with that, but I was just like,
it's not the best way to do it. It's not. I'll grant you that, but again, this is one of those situations where, we're going to have to modify until we get the best practice in. So, I know Dory, you were trying to reach the alarm company, and you left them a message saying that if you don't call us back, we're going with somebody else.
I did again today, but I want to check with Brian Smith before we go to somebody else because they do our alarm anyway. So as far as I don't want to get off topic. I don't want to talk about, we're getting off topic, but yeah. So I did call again today. So I want to speak with Brian Smith, see if he's had any luck because it was a two-pronged.
Brian Fazzetti has his hands up.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Brian Smith has a pretty good line. I think he has a couple of contacts with that company, so he might be able to go in the back door. Also, I'd be very, very careful with sharing the codes to those doors because if, per se, we have to find out who's going in the building and 3 people have the same code, you really don't know who went in the building.
Exactly. And I totally understand that. And I understand the need for better security and such, but we can't not schedule people and only schedule certain people for the longest hours or the latest hours, because that's not fair either. So we need to get on this as expeditiously as possible.
And then change all codes. Yep.
And then, then we start from scratch. We have everybody in, we start from scratch. Everybody gets a code. Okay. Yep. Anything else, Maddie?
The only thing was the shirts. Bina hasn't sent us an update. I know you had said that you were going to try Rockland. I'm willing to make calls. The only problem is I'm leaving on vacation on Friday, so I won't be able to check in with them or anything like that. I have all the sizes that I can share and what shirts we need. But
can you please share that with me? I did not. Obviously, last week I did not get a chance to go to athletics, so I apologize. But it is on my list of things to do tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I'm going to Weymouth to tutor, and I go right by it on my way into Weymouth. Audrey?
I was just going to offer to take that if you want me to. I ordered all of the 200th anniversary attire and merchandise through Rockland Athletics. So I have a contact over there that I'd be happy to reach out to.
That would be great.
Take that off your plate.
Do you have a copy of a shirt?
I can get it from Maddie.
Excellent. Maddie, I still have your number 15 of your shirts or whatever it is. And I believe the preferred material was everybody would just like a cotton t-shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you take care of that, Maddie. I'll drop off your shirt at the camp. Okay. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay.
Have anything to tell me to do.
No.
Thanks, Maddie.
So thank you for that update. I do want, based on conversations that we had, I'm just going to bring this up very quickly. We had a very challenging wedding this Sunday, where the wedding was happening out on the kickball field, or the open field, as you want to call it. And it was a ridiculous amount of work for a very large group of caretakers and a very, I'll call them, challenging bride and groom. They're very kind, but they were sort of high maintenance. So that's not going to be an option anymore. We are not going to allow, if someone calls, wants their wedding in that open space, it just can't happen. Okay. And we are going to discuss protocols for the caretakers, and we're going to have a mandatory meeting with all the caretakers, and I think some commission members as well. There have been some things going on that the new caretakers, maybe it was naive on my part. I didn't think I'd have to tell caretakers they can't be invited and attend after parties for weddings, because you're still a representative of the camp. You shouldn't be partying with the guests. I don't care if you know who they are or whatever. You just shouldn't be doing it. And some caretakers thinking that because they're been here longer, that they have the right to, be over other caretakers. And that's not the case. The caretakers report to Dory. They report to Maddie as head caretaker. And we, as the commission, we don't really have, that authority to tell everybody what to do. It has to go through the proper channels with Dory and Maddie, and we can converse with them. And then, we are a public place. We can't just kick people off because there's a wedding happening and somebody's, down in the north end. These are all little things that need to be discussed with everybody as a whole. So if anyone would like to be at that caretaker meeting, please shoot me an email, and I'll decide, then I'll be able to tell if we need to put up an agenda or whatever, if we have a quorum. Maddie?
All I was going to add is two things in terms of, if we could also offer, if they want an outdoor wedding, we have that big open space right next to the lodge. If they're looking for something that's on the grass. Yep. And then also just, there are always some hiccups when new people come in, but we do have some really awesome new caretakers that just started that are learning the ropes.
We have some awesome caretakers, but they do need to understand what their role is. And it was hard because, again, Dory was on vacation, and questions that they would have been asking Dory were addressed to caretakers, and they don't know who's new and who's not new, and they don't know who knows what. So we do need to establish those rules, and it would be very helpful if we write them down. We give the kids or the adults, the people, a copy so that they know what to go by and what their roles and responsibilities are. Are there any questions about that? Okay, so shoot me an email if you'd like to be at that meeting. If not, I do not take any offense to it. All right. So is there anything else on the caretaker report, Maddie?
No.
Okay, make sure. Okay. And Audrey, did you want to say any more about vote on playbooks and planning guide?
Yeah. Do you guys mind if I just share my screen real quick?
Go right ahead.
Okay. So let me just get this up. So can you guys see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet. It says you've started screen sharing.
There you go.
You can see it?
Yep.
Okay. So I just, I'd hoped that we were meeting in person. I was going to have some real fancy print for you guys to look at, but since we're on Zoom, I created a PowerPoint. That's now closing. Great. Had it open too long. Okay, I'm just going to share it like this. So event planning, the event playbook and planning. So I was at the wedding all day yesterday. I went up to share Maddie's shift with her and just get a feel for what happens and at a wedding and you know, what the caretakers go through, you know, at a wedding. And it, like Diane said, it was a cluster. There was, you know, last minute decisions on where the wedding, there was a harp pulled in the back of my car and I drove it down to the field because they couldn't carry a harp down to the field. There was an arbor that what was that?
The arbor.
The arbor, a huge arbor that they expected us to get down there. It didn't fit in the Gators, you know, tractor or whatever, or even in Brady's truck, which I told him to leave it because we would just be responsible if something happened to it. The groomsmen had to carry it down and carry it up. So it was a real cluster. I know weather played a factor in it because they weren't sure if it was going to rain. So, but long story short, and this is not pointing fingers at anybody. I know Dory was on vacation. I know the caretakers are still learning. I think that's why it's very clear that we have a clear line of communication for events. So one of the things that I whipped up at work was a wedding planning guide. And this is something that I think should go out to brides, maybe, you know, 60 to 30 days before their wedding. There are a lot of rules and things that happen that are questioned as they get closer to the wedding date that are in the contract that they're signing, but they're signing a contract today and they're not having their event for another year. There's a lot of fine print in that contract. And I know I don't read all of the fine print on contracts when I sign them. So I think this is a helpful, condensed planning guide for them. It gives them a snapshot of what our rules are and what is needed from them, you know, the information from them to us so that we can streamline scheduling and what's happening. So I can send this out as a PDF to everybody so they can review it. This is just a draft. So obviously we can add and remove things as everybody sees fit. I can send this as a PDF. You can play with it and then bring it to reading. So this would be page 1. It would be like a folded piece that we could send out as a marketing piece. And it shows here that, you know, 30 days before your wedding, these are the things that we need: catering details, rental details. This particular wedding had rentals coming and nobody knew until the rehearsal that they were coming and what time they were coming. And they were coming hours before anybody was scheduled to be there. So that added some extra hours for the caretaker, making for a much longer day. So it's just little things like that. Floor plans. Maddie did an amazing job creating probably 150 different floor plans for every iteration of a wedding setup. Center dance floor, all different table counts. And she's got all of those are a Google Doc, which I think would be great to upload to the site so that brides, as they're planning, can download them and use them to create their seating charts and all that sort of stuff, but then also submit them to Dory so that it can go along in this playbook so that, you know, there's no question. Somebody who has done one wedding function should be able to just pick up this playbook and know exactly what to do. So same thing for extra lodge hours. I know that there are a lot of instances where people are like, you know, at the end of the event, nobody wants to stop partying and they're asking, no, we're just going to pay for an extra hour. We're just going to, and they can't do that. And they need to know that we need at least 30 days to plan for that because you have to extend the bar permit and you also have to staff for that.
And if they don't, they lose some deposit.
Exactly. So then there's a planning page, what to expect in the day of. The Needles Lodge is going to be clean, you know, caretakers will have set up your tables, this, that, whatever, all of these little bullet points on what they can expect from us on the day that they arrive. That there will be a caretaker available on site. I probably put in here 3 times that candles are not allowed because, again, even though that's in the contract that they sign, they're not looking at it. And the wedding on Sunday had every centerpiece had a candle that she couldn't light.
When Audrey and I had specifically met with her the week before, telling her there were no candles.
Right. Right. And she knew that she didn't light them, but she had already had them made, and it, you know, it was a week before, and she didn't know. She could have gone a totally different way. Confetti, and Maddie elaborated on the confetti to me yesterday, which I didn't add into this, but confetti is not allowed. Confetti and balloons, rose petals, glitter. Yes. So I added that to my form, but it's just not part of this PDF. So yeah, so those kinds of things are not allowed. Bird seed, anything. And then just a reminder that all decorations come in with you, they leave with you. Even if they're staying in the cabins, there's not always staff scheduled the next morning to come in and let you in. Plan accordingly. If they're camping, there's just like a little what you should know about camping. What's available in the bridal cottage as far as bedding goes, bathroom, kitchen, screen porch, the cabins, that they don't have electricity. The bathhouses include showers, the pavilion. The most common use for the pavilion would be a breakfast in the morning for your guests, just to give them an idea of what they can use that building for. What to bring: bug spray, bedding, lanterns, rain ponchos, and then a snap of our rules that are posted on the website with a checkout of 11 o'clock sharp, because a lot of times a Friday night wedding, we've got a Saturday turnover. So everybody's got to be out of those cabins so that the caretakers can flip them. Yep. So that's just a reminder for them on that. And then,
is there an arrival time as well?
Well, the arrival time would be
3 p.m.
3 p.m. But I would think that we should be able to accommodate them if, like this wedding on Sunday, they came in at 1 to set up. They wanted to be able to go up to the cabins at their 1 o'clock setup time to distribute, you know, the bug spray and the packages that they got for their cabin. So, you know, I think a 2-hour flip time is okay. So I would say no later than 1 o'clock on a wedding.
Okay. Yeah. And we can iron out those details later, but
right.
Weekend we had, you know, camping Friday night at a wedding, Saturday night at a wedding, and Sunday night at a wedding. And it was tough to flip.
Yep.
So
yep, definitely. And then the frequently asked questions and the rules. So these frequently asked questions are right from the website. The one thing that I did add here or tweak was that can we bring our own alcohol, or can we consume alcohol outside? So this was a question that came up with this particular bride when Diane and I talked to her. And so I called Chief Mix and had a long conversation with him about the rules on alcohol at Camp Kewanee. And I also had a long conversation with Bill Fuller, who owns the New England Bar Service. So according to Chief Mix, all of the liability falls on the bar service, and they do have liability insurance. I sent it to Diane. They're a 12C certified caterer, bartender. I sent that all to Diane as well. So the bar service takes all responsibility for the alcohol. The license is approved for the camp, anywhere on the camp. So the bar service can set up a bar in the Pine Grove. They can set up a bar in the middle of the South End. They can set up a bar in the pavilion. They have the bride or the renter has the ability to set up a bar anywhere on Camp Kewanee, at the Cove. However, if they're only in the lodge, if they are not using a satellite bar outside and they're only in the lodge, and a bartender doesn't have eyes on people that are drinking, then they have to stay in the lodge. If they have a satellite bar out on the deck, and there's a bartender dedicated to being on the deck, then they can drink around the fire, alcohol that is purchased through the camp. That gives the bartender the ability to watch for people going to their cars, getting alcohol. They need to be visible to the people that are drinking. And that was true for Chief Mix, and it was true for Bill Fuller.
Okay, I know, Frank, I see that you have a question on that. I just want to ask.
Brian Frazzetti also has a question. So.
Okay. I have a question are you allowed to put a satellite bar off the lodge out in the front by the fire, like on the grounds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brian Frazzetti, go ahead.
Okay, you have to watch the policies and procedures on this. You can, according to policies and procedures that have been around before we were there, You can put one out on the deck. You can put one, and it says what you would call Pine Grove, which doesn't have any pine trees there anymore, which is basically where the fire pit is. But it does state that no other place on the premises can have alcohol, like on the south end, north end, down at the beach. Those are all alcohol-free areas.
So that's a Recreation Commission rule. That is not a rule of the police or the bar service.
Correct, but they have to follow by our rules, and I'm going to guess that's to protect us too. I can't imagine the bar service.
It doesn't fall under our liability insurance. It falls all under the bar services liability insurance, and they are permitted to be anywhere on Camp Kewaunee.
Right, but our policy.
That's strictly a Recreation Commission policy, and it doesn't affect our insurance or protect it. You know, it doesn't necessarily protect us from anything because we are protected no matter where the bar is.
Okay, Frank, go ahead.
I guess the point what Brian's making is we still can't do it outside of those areas because we ourselves, unless we change the policy here in the commission, we still can't have it anywhere other than the places that the policy actually states that we can have it. I think that's the point that he's trying to get. And correct me if I'm wrong, Brian.
Right.
Correct.
So that's fine, I think, because this form just really says that, you're set up a satellite bar outside. That's fine. We have that in our policies and procedures that they can be on the deck or on the Pine Grove. And I don't think that they're really going to want to bar out. And I mean, we have had in the past, we used to have luau's down on the beach and we had the bar service down there. And we used to have events in the pavilion where we would have the bar service. So, but I don't, those were outside events, not weddings.
Not weddings, Frank?
So, do we maybe for when we actually go through the policies and procedures, it might be something in there say no alcohol unless provided by a professional bar service or the bar service that we choose for the camp. So if we do have events like this and they do want to, it's not just people bringing alcohol, but alcohol from the camp vendor that would actually be able to serve it. So we wouldn't have an issue with doing it at the beach or something like that for whatever event that we put on or a wedding puts on.
Yeah, I think we need to definitely revise that in our policies and procedures, especially as the camp seems to be getting a lot busier and a lot more different types of events. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we can revisit that, but I don't think we can ever put in, basically have at it in the South End if you, have a reunion or whatever.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was saying, for events that the camp or wedding puts on per approval, obviously, like you have to have the scheduled bar service that we use here at the camp would only be able to serve alcohol in those areas during those events, not like a free for all. Everybody, throwing Busch Light into the beach and everything like that.
Okay, so that's good. Okay, Go ahead, Audrey.
Okay, so I added that in there to the frequently asked questions. And then just the rules again, no candles, open flames, no confetti. I'll elaborate on that. No alcohol. Renters. One thing Maddie asked me to add in is no nails, no nails in the wall.
Right.
And then the renter is responsible for decorations, entertainment must stop 15 minutes before the event concludes, and functions at the Needles Lodge must end no later than 11 p.m. I put in a little tag that says failure to comply will result in forfeiture of $1,000 security deposit, which I think is in the application.
It is.
or online. I pulled a lot of the stuff from the web. Yep. So this is just a little 4-pager that I think might be important to send out as we get, these weddings coming, maybe send them, maybe even 60 days before, and send like a little personalized letter with them saying, your deposit is due, because I think your deposit and your
yes, I was
your balance are due 60 days.
Yes.
Looking forward to your event. Here are some helpful planning hints, and then send that along to the renter as a reminder.
Yep. And this is for any event. This isn't just for weddings. This is for any event.
Well, this is sort of customized to a wedding a little bit because it's, it's got the camping in here, and we could certainly do one for each, a wedding, and then just a regular planning one, which I don't think would need as much information, but but yeah, we could do a second one. So, okay, so that's that. And then Maddie and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the event playbook too. Yep. So this is a document that has been in place for a long time, and it's a very helpful document. As I said earlier, having this playbook allows just about anybody to just grab the package of the pack of the details, including this all filled out. So here's just a snapshot of it. And then here is, what did I do? Oh, bummer. Please hold.
While you're playing around with that, Audrey, can I make a comment? A lot of these things are already set up underneath the Facebook website.
Yeah.
I mean, yours is more updated and everything else like that. And I agree that it should be they should all be rewritten and the booklet sent out, like you said.
Yep.
So I mean,
no, I agree, Joan. I got a lot of this from the web. I'm not on Facebook, but I did get a lot of this from the website.
Okay.
But, I just think, if we direct them to the website to go and grab the floor plans, they'll see more of this, but it's also just something that they have right before. And they're like, oh, it's something that they can use and put with their planning stuff and not,
This also, if we send it out 60 days in advance, this also covers us as being proactive rather than counting on somebody else who may not be proactive in looking at everything.
Right.
So, and the responsibility.
Melissa and Brian both have their hands up.
I think it answers a lot of questions too that people may call Dory and ask, can we do this or can we do that? I think it might answer some questions.
Okay, Melissa, go ahead.
I think this is great, Audrey. I think it makes us look organized too. And I know you're not done with it, but I just thought maybe we could add a emergency contact page.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
So or even, I know that we might not know who's going to be scheduled as a caretaker, but like, who can they call when they arrive? Who's the emergency person? Who's your head, meet your head caretaker. You know what I mean? Like that's who's going to be helping you for the day.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Because they do think that at the start of an event, whoever is in charge, whether it be Maddie or Emily or Jen or whoever it is, that they go immediately. And I'm sure that they already do. I'm not saying that they don't, but go and introduce themselves to the people that arrive. And I'm here, we're going to be here. Let us know if you need anything or, whatever. So, and that certainly was done on Sunday for sure.
Yeah.
So that means the scheduling would need to be done 60 days in advance. Okay, if they're going to put that in with that when it gets sent out. And Dory, who else had a hand up?
Brian has his hand up still.
Brian does.
Brian, go ahead.
Just a quick question. I know you're talking about mailing it out to people. Are you talking about a physical mailer, or are you talking just email through a PDF and then you?
Nope, a
just
physical
get it to
mailer.
A physical mailer. Do we go through the town hall? Because I would guess that the town would have type of a mailing service where we're not paying full price for mailings.
Well, the town.
Or we don't.
No, the town, they do have a postage account. You would be paying it. I mean, it's not enough to get a discount. You have to mail 500 pieces or more to get a discount on mail. And this is what I do for a living. So you pay fees to have the file pre-sorted and NCOA'd and CAS certified. And, depending on the quantity of the mail, it outweighs the cost of the actual postage. So for these where we're sending maybe 6 to 10 of them a month, you're not making it, and it's 52 cents a stamp. So you're not saving any money. If we were to send out a marketing piece and we were going to send it out to a significant mail list, then yes, we definitely would want to go through. The town does not have it, but your printer would. So I know you guys use Webster Printing, or you have in the past, because they contract with my company, and I actually printed your last newsletter. But Webster Printing, or whoever you used, they would provide the data services to get your mail reduced.
Okay. All right, Audrey, do you have a little more to go through?
Just a little bit, but Frank has his hand up.
Frank,
yeah. So why would we mail it and not make it a electronic form? I feel like if you mailed it and you'd require them to mail it back, you probably wouldn't get
Nope.
nearly as many responses back.
We're not requiring them to give and mail anything back to us. It's really just a physical piece, just to say, here, here are some things to know. I know when you're like a bride, when they're planning their wedding, not everything is kept electronically. They have a folder of stuff that they carry around with them. And they're using these pieces. They've got their contract from the caterer, and they've got their rental agreement, and they've got, all of these different things, and, pictures and stuff. So not everything is done electronically. I think, hard copies are still necessary.
There's nothing that says we can't do it both ways.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's true too. But so I was just a little confused because the first page that you had, they had information that we wanted from them, right? Like the caterers and things like that. So
we do, I'll jump into that in the next part with the planning, with the playbook, right? So this is just information that we're going to need from the renter, 30 days before. So whether they're emailing it, and we can put details in there on who to email it to, or whether we're calling them to get the information from them, it just gives them a heads up that this is what we need from them. Okay, so we were here on the playbook before I trashed this. So here is a playbook that's filled out, right? So Harry and Ginny are getting married. The time of the event, they're not having any extra hours. They're coming in at 1. It has their table count, their buffets, their number of guests, their ceremony on site, where they want the ceremony, the camping information, the windows, the linens. The vendor information is pretty important to the caretakers because they need to staff to make sure that somebody's going to be here. There are some caterers that want to come in, before, like if Maddie's scheduling a 1 o'clock start and she's got caretakers to be there at 11 to get the hall ready. There could be a caretaker that wants to drop off earlier than that. And that's something that's really important that we know for staffing. The DJ or the band, the arrival of the bar, is the bar permit ready? That's super important too, because that has to be posted in the bar before the bar service arrives.
Okay, hold on a moment there for a second. Dory, would you like to address that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Just saying that it's a vote of the Board of Selectmen, obviously, that gives the liquor license. And then that is sent, from the administrative assistant to the bar service. They're saying that it's approved, but there isn't a paper license.
There used to be. There used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not anymore?
No, there's no paper. Hold on. No, there's no paper license that's issued. It's a memorandum from the administrative assistant of the Board of Selectmen's office to William Fuller of the bar service, just saying that these are approved. You're good to go. So if there's a question, he'll call me and say, "Oh my God," whatever. But no, there's no paper license issued for that.
Okay. So historically, it used to be that there was a paper license and it had to be hung up. Maybe that's why that's not happening anymore, because that process changed. But either way, the caretaker should know that it was approved, that that was submitted and approved.
Well, yeah, if it's not, the event wouldn't go on,
right.
So I think that's a great idea. If there was a paper a license issued, that would be fantastic to be put up.
Yeah.
But on the caretaker level, they don't get involved in that. That's between me and the selectman's office and the bartending service, whether it's been approved or not. On me, it's, on your playlist, which is fantastic. I love everything that you're doing.
This is
it's
Maddie.
Like bar service. Yeah, I know. Maddie's amazing. Bartending service. Yeah. So, if there's a question, it's a question. So, that paper license thing doesn't mean anything.
Perfect.
It's just, if there's a bar service, yes. If they don't want a bar, it's no. It's a simple yes or no.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Rentals, so plates and glasses are coming, and they want to drop off at 10 a.m. So this is all information. We're hoping that within 30 days, we get this information from the bride, the groom, and if not, then maybe, I'm not saying Dory, but we've got Renee that's helping out, and Amaya wants to help out in the office, that they could call you know, the brides and, you know, try to get this information from them so we can have a full event playbook. And we're not being surprised by, you know, linen drop-offs and things like that. So the playbook would also include, this is just a sample of the many floor designs that Maddie did, floor plans that Maddie did. They should be submitting that to us, even if they're just choosing, saying, I want the, you know, 16 table, you know, center dance floor format. Fine, we can print that out, put it in the playbook. And then this is kind of what I had an idea, you know, to keep the playbooks in, are these, you know, sleeves here, having the playbook complete 2 weeks prior for Maddie so that she can schedule her people to include the completed event playbook. Notes from rehearsal, I think, is important because this particular bride made a bunch of changes and talked to the caretaker on site. And that information was not clearly articulated back to Maddie. We were an hour and a half into our setup when we learned that we had to change a bunch of things. So I think if there are notes from a rehearsal, if one caretaker is doing the rehearsal and then the next, you know, the different caretaker is opening the function, there should be notes in this playbook. Everything should be together. The bar permit, which we don't need now, and then a copy of the application. So that's the playbook in a nutshell. This is a process improvement. It's, you know, it's been in play. It's been in process for a long time. I think some of the you know, the forms were lost in the transition between Lon and Dory. So Maddie has recreated these forms.
Maddie, you're a rock star.
She's awesome. She's so awesome. So just wanted to, you know, present this to you. And
Brian Prezzetti has his hand up.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, just a question or a thought or whatever you want to call it. I like the playbook. I like, you know, obviously checks and balances and all that. I myself, and again, this is only one person out of 7 talking, I'd like to see it go out as an email that could possibly be edited. So that way, if like the event playbook, the bride can fill in the spaces. So if you have, you know, bride's name, first and last name, they should be able to. I've done it before with different forms, but I'm not. This isn't my, you know, my area, my background, but or my area of expertise. But is there? I would think that the email method would be the easiest way, and you ensure that they're getting it, as opposed to getting lost in the mail and may not make it back to us. At least if you mail it out, you have proof you mailed it out, and then maybe they just fill in there, check off the different areas, fill in the blanks, and then they email it right back. I mean, it's just the thought process on my end.
So Brian, I created an Excel document that would auto-populate into different tabs and pre-fill all of the stuff out. The idea of this event playbook is not to be filled out by the renter. It's to be filled out by the office and the caretaking staff.
Well, I was speaking more of the bridal part of it. I'm sorry. The bride checklist that you were going to send out.
You're talking about the prior pages.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry if I wasn't. Yeah, like the camping and all that stuff.
Planning guide.
So this is a static form. This isn't personalized to a particular event.
Right.
This is something we can print 50 copies of and have them on hand to send out.
Right. So this is sort of broken up into something that goes to the bride. And when we have all the bride's information, which we should already have in the Google schedule and from Dory's paperwork, then 2 weeks before the event, this is filled out by Dory or whoever fills it out, leaves it for the caretaker, and then boom. That particular part of it, the event playbook. The other part was stuff we're sending out to the renter. This we're not sending out to the renter, are we?
No, we're not.
Right.
Yeah, I think I got confused in the same pot because in the yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, yeah, it makes sense that the first pot is kind of like, what do you need to know, and kind of send it out, and they just put it in there. My wife had that binder. It was like 8 inches thick, so she had like all kinds of forms in there. But Joan has her hand up also.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, yeah. Audrey, is there any way that you can send me a PDF form or anything of all of what you did on the playbooks and on the planning guide?
Yep, I can.
And on the dance floor?
Yeah.
And then I'd just like to compare it to what was in the old one opposed to the new one, what you have in here, so that if we need to add anything else, that something might be missing.
Maddie's already done that. We've compared it to a physical copy that we found in the office that was filled out from a few years ago. And we've already done that. We've tweaked it based on the old one and added a couple of things that are helpful to be, some additions.
Brian has his hand up.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, just a quick reminder, if anything gets mailed up, please make sure it goes through Dory so that we don't get caught into a little bit of a OML trap.
Right.
These would go from the office, correct?
Yep. Okay. So, I think I'm sorry, Audrey, are you finished with your presentation?
I am. Yes,
okay.
I am.
So first off, I would like to say thank you so much. Kudos,
good job,
everybody. Great job. Thank you. Again, Maddie, you're a rock star. And do we need any kind of a vote on this to start using this again, or is it just going to be part of the procedure?
I'd like a copy of it so I can look at it a little bit more detail if possible.
Yeah, doesn't require a vote, but yeah, if everybody could have a copy of it, that would be great.
Yep. Great. Okay. And obviously the caretakers are on board with it because one of them created it.
It will make your life so much easier. So
you are the head caretaker, so yes.
So I'm going to send this out, the static part of it. The playbook's in process. I think Maddie's already left some copies for Dory for upcoming events. But the static part of it, the piece that we'll mail out, I'd like to send it to everybody. And if you can just make some adjustments and edits and, whatever, I'd like to get that formally, created and so that we can get that in process too. If you could bring it to the next meeting.
Right. That'd be great. Hold on, Joe.
Joe just wants a copy as well.
Okay.
Glad you're excited, Joe.
No, I am excited. I apologize. I'm doing an event right now at Camp Kawani. So I'm trying to keep the noise
How's
down.
How's it going up there?
It's going great, Jack.
I'm there too.
Jack Gillett earned his Eagle Scout today. So there's a ceremony at Camp Kawani. So we're celebrating with him. He happens to be my neighbor. He did a great job. He happens to be my neighbor, so I felt obligated to go down there and show support. But no, I'm listening as you're going. This is really exciting to see. I'm really, really happy to see all this happening. If you feel like it's appropriate, I don't want to step on toes, but if you do feel it's appropriate, just because I'm excited to see what you're doing, do you mind sending me a copy when you send them out?
Absolutely.
Thank you. And great work. I mean, it really is nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is great. Okay. So we will all get a copy on that, and then we should vote on it, or do you want to vote on it now? I think we should maybe wait.
Yeah.
But
we don't need to vote on it tonight.
Right. We don't really need to vote on it.
I just want to say thank you, Audrey, so much. That's fantastic.
You're welcome.
It is. Discussion and vote on Medieval Day.
So I had talked to Diane about this. It's an event that I've been talking with some friends about, and Wes and Joanne Bloss, to recreate a Medieval Day. And I don't know if any of you were in Hanson Middle School when Wes and Joanne did Medieval Day, but it was the coolest day in the 6th grade was Medieval Day. We tossed around a few ideas and we came up with a plan. We were hoping to use Camp Kawani. I'd love it if we could sponsor it. And it would be something that I would, as a commission member, would run. We do want it to be a free event, and we are using very little of Camp Kawani property. We would be using none of the buildings except for maybe the bathhouses. And we would be using the backwoods of the camp, the field, and then mostly Smitty's Bogs. But we actually were thinking about doing this fall, and Wes is concerned with Triple E because the first numbers have been are out, and this was always a spring event, so he'd like us to push it to spring, which I'm totally fine with you know, stuff, you know, the 200th anniversary has an event going on too in October. So, but just to, you know, keep it in the back of your minds about this event, it would just be like a team activity. So we would have 6 teams of 10 that would join. And when they joined, they can join as a team if they have a group like that wants to join as a group, but or if they can join as an individual, they get assigned a character to play. So it's sort of a little bit theater. So they would get a character to play, and basically the teams have tasks that they have to complete. They have to get a virgin bride to Canterbury without getting her dirty. Wes is hoping that the spring will be extra muddy so that it makes it even more challenging. But there'll be challenges along the way. There'll be, you know, obstacles that they have to complete.
I just have one question, Audrey. And I know it's not till the spring, but when people sign up for this, are they going to be given their part when they sign up? Yep. Okay, so that might take a little preparation time. Right. So do we need to put something out on the site to like a site deadline and everything, and so, some way for them to get their role prior to that?
Right. We'll probably start thinking about that maybe like December, January. Okay. And we'll start, you know, really planning it. Wes and Joanne did this for a million years. I've got their books from their class books that, you know, that they used. I have a couple of them here to go through. Okay. So, you know, they'll get assigned their character and a little history on their character so that they can, you know, sort of be in character. Right. And there, you know, there's no costuming or any sort of expense like that. The only thing that we would ask is that women wear a long skirt and men wear a cape so that they have some sort of restriction as they're, you know, making their way through the woods. Yes, to Canterbury.
So it's going to be a fun event, and we will definitely plan on promoting it if people have questions, or, you know, do you want to take a vote on this to support this idea? We would want, you said you want it to be a free event, and it would only require a caretaker, and we can sponsor it ourselves, and we're not using the buildings, just the bathhouses and the bog. Do we need permission from the town to use the bog area?
I think we do, and I'll find out who we contact for Smitty's Bogs. I think it's conservation, but I'll find out. I'll take care of that part of it.
I think it is too. And just my only question is how you want to, you know, sign people up for it. Yeah. If you're limiting it to 60, you know, are you prepared to have like a waiting list or to run it on 2 nights?
Yeah. I would say we would probably just want to do it one time. And we'll see how the demand goes, you know. But, you know, I think one night, you know, is good. And then maybe, you know, next year, if this becomes like a thing, then maybe next year, you know, we can make it a little bit bigger, expand the number of teams, you know, make this just like a pilot year to see how it goes. One of the ideas that I had were that, you know, there are 2 different outcomes. Like if you make it, you know, if you make it through the correct way, you end up at the lodge where there's a beer garden and, you know, sort of like a reward, you know, a medieval little festival going. And if you fail, you end up at the cove and you're at like the bog of stench or something. So,
How about the Cove of Wasps?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe we shouldn't get the exterminator out this week. We can keep it until medieval day.
No.
Exterminator out. Okay.
So
Well,
for those, I mean, we didn't want to start any planning because we just wanted to make sure that the Recreation Commission was on board. If the Recreation Commission is on board, then we will start planning, and I can provide more details once, we have.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about Medieval Day? Melissa, can you see any hands?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Then I would here entertain a motion that the camp sponsor a Medieval Day organized by Audrey and the Flanagans and anybody.
Joan has her
At this
hair up.
point, I think we should wait till another meeting till we get more information and what exactly the plans are.
Well, they don't want to spend the time planning unless they know they have our support. So we can vote to actually to support a Medieval Day, hold on. Frank, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we make the motion pending a date.
Yeah.
For
pending date and approval of detailed plans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a motion showing support for the Medieval Day pending a date and plans, more detailed plans before that.
Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion? Hello? So moved.
Thank you. On Frank's motion.
What?
I don't know if that motion made sense.
Okay. All right. So, and can someone just second it, please?
Second.
Thanks, Melissa. All those in favor, Melissa Scartesi?
Aye.
Frank Malisi?
Aye.
Joan Frizzetti?
Aye.
Brian Frizzetti?
Aye.
Audrey Flanagan?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Okay, so we will support a Medieval Day pending a date and details.
Thank you.
After that, old business or correspondence? Dory, do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Excellent. Is there anything you would like to update us on other than, okay, the beach, because we didn't do that during an open session. Go ahead. Would you like to update us on the beach?
Yeah, I'll do it on the department head update.
Yep.
So as far as, the beach.
Team reports. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Does anybody have any?
Report. Yeah, team reports.
Does anybody, facilities team?
No.
Hey, Dory.
Yes.
Did Brian was supposed to send me out an email on specifics to do with November. I know we have a roof problem and a potential problem with dates, but he didn't send me out anything. He said he was going to send you something about specifics about some major work being done in potentially November. So we might have to close it down for a week or two.
Yeah, definitely. So under team reports, yes, absolutely, through you, Madam Chair. So we have to do the roof in order to get the stove hooked up, and it can't be done now because we have weddings and everything. So Brian Smith and I did chat about it and thinking like maybe we'll just like do it in like December, but then we're thinking Christmas is December. So we're thinking, because we're booked until the beginning of November. So maybe January, we just shut everything down. We do the roof. We do like the repairs that like Diane spoke earlier, the repairs that are necessary in the north end to those doors, get all that stuff done, maybe for the month of January, just close down, get that done. Then we can reopen, Valentine's Day, maybe do some things about that in February vacation and have the roof done. Then we can hook up the stove and hopefully be up and running by March. So I'm glad you brought that up. So that was the thought process. If everybody feels like that's the right thing to do, because the roof has to be done before we hook up the stove.
Frank has his hand up.
Go ahead, Frank.
Do we have any scheduled events booked for January as of yet?
No.
Okay. So it might be next agenda that we had, we should probably put that on because that does not sound like a bad idea. Is closing out, doing all the fixing that we need to do during January, and then as long as the roofers can actually do it during January, weather permitting. I mean, some of those roofer guys will go up there regardless of the weather, but just as long as they, we know that we can get it done in January. I wouldn't see an issue with that.
Well, I thought that made sense to do that. And I'm glad that Brian came and asked about the best time to do it, because to be jamming things in during the week in anticipation of getting it done for the weekend is just too stressful.
Yeah, Brian Fazzetti has his hand up also.
Go ahead, Melissa.
How long do we know? Have we gotten an estimate on what needs to be done? Like, how long is it? Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Like, to get the whole project done and completed? How long?
The roof?
Yeah.
No, I have not seen nothing yet on the roof. We're just at the beginning stages. We just, realized we need the roof done. So I mean, Brian and I were calculating like a week, but it depends on weather and everything else.
Yeah.
So we're thinking.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'd say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A month.
I think given that there is some damage there, and I think that once a roofer gets up there, and just because we're Camp Kiwanee and because it's construction, any time estimate they give us, I think we need to double it.
Yeah.
And luckily we have the funds to do it, because it comes covered under the grant that we got for, the money that we got for the venting system. So I think it's good to leave the whole month available. I think
Brian Fazzetti has his hands up. Diane.
Brian.
I know once Brian gets back, he's supposed to pretty much call everybody. He's going to talk to Gordon. He's going to talk to the steel guy. He's going to talk to electrician. He's going to talk to everyone, the input system and whatnot. And he's going to see what works out, where you can pretty much roll. Your carpenter has to talk to the steel guy, the fabrication guy.
Everybody has to coordinate.
Correct. So that way, when one guy finishes, the other guy's right behind him.
Right.
And that's kind of where his coordination was going to go. He was going to try for November, but I don't think that's going to happen. But that's always a possibility. And he was looking at a window of, as Dory said, anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks, because once you open up that little can of worms on the roof, you never can tell what's going to come out of the walls and everything else.
Well, there's such a delay. There's such a delay with materials right now. My world is crazy right now with my job, but getting materials is such a delay. So if we have to get anything, it's who knows.
Well, at least we're in a position right now where we can hold our events.
Yeah.
So
what, Diane, what in the kitchen? So so the stove doesn't work right now, right? So
we're not allowed to use the stove top. We are allowed. I had the fire department down, and because the sheetrock is up and everything else, we are allowed to use ovens.
Okay.
And for the last few years, that's the way it's been. So caterers know that. And primarily they're bringing already prepared food in and just heating it up.
Okay.
And the building inspector has been down, as has the fire chief. So.
Okay.
Any other questions with that? Okay, so
Frank has a question, I think.
Yes, Frank,
so yeah, like I said, I think if we put it on the agenda for next meeting, and then when Brian Smith and Brian Fazzetti can kind of, it's 5 months out, so I think that's the perfect opportunity to coordinate, the electrician and everybody like that to come out and get the materials that we need for, 5 months advance notice is a long time. So, yeah, I think that should be a next agenda item.
Okay, and then just the reiteration team reports. I mean, there's really nothing at the Cove other than I'm going to let Dory skip down to, unless Brian, did you have anything else for facilities?
Nope, that was it. Thank you.
Okay. The only thing I will say on facilities is that a couple of the cabins, Maddie, maybe you can speak to this, or Dory as well. One of our caretakers, actually 2 of our caretakers, have done a quick fix that's pretty stable right now to 2 of our cabins, I believe, in the south end.
I was going to do that. Yep, under department head update, but feel free.
Okay, no, you go ahead. I'm gonna skip the rest of teams right now because
I want to talk about events for a minute.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I forgot about that, Melissa.
That's sorry. All right. So Thursday night we have our movie night at the Cove. So Boston Audio Rentals is going to come in. We did an event 2 weeks ago at the library. It was awesome. With coordination with the library. There was probably like, I think, Frank, I think you might have been there actually. Probably,
I was, yeah. It was a lot of mosquitoes, but there was a lot of people there too. It was great.
Yeah, I don't think they sprayed, but yeah, it was probably like 70, 75 people, I think we counted. So I actually am going to go down to the camp and figure out how we want to set up
place everything.
Yeah, place everything. And but yeah, that's why I was concerned about the bees, and hopefully we'll be okay by Thursday night. We'll reassess, Diane. I'll touch base with you, but they're going to be coming in. We actually have the waffle food cart or food truck coming.
Oh, we have Heidi's coming.
Heidi as well. They're both coming.
Okay.
I think it'll be fine. There's two different things. I mean, it's dessert, but I think they're two different things.
Okay.
So we have that, and then we're playing ET. And then the next one is at the library, and then we have one more at the Cove in August.
August.
So, I think it's like right before school starts.
Okay.
Like the third week or something like that.
All right. I told Heidi's about that one too.
Yeah. And then Dory, I do need to touch base with you because I want to do another paint with Kath night for at least a couple for August. I've kind of been like ignoring her. I've just been like so crazy with work. But I want to do an adult one and a kids one. So I'll touch base with you on dates on that.
Perfect.
Melissa, did you get a copy of Grease?
Not yet. I will.
Okay.
If anyone, actually, Maddie, do you have a copy of Grease?
I might have a copy of Grease. Let me check.
If you do, let me know.
Okay.
Like it's hard. It's not on Amazon. It's like it's really hard to find. So I'm looking for the
worry.
Well, I asked because I noticed that the Plymouth Drive-In is also showing it.
When are they doing that? What's their date?
I believe they're in August as well.
Oh, okay.
Do you just need a DVD?
Yeah, it's just a DVD. They hook it up to the screen and they have the player and everything.
I might have it.
Okay.
I'll look too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The date is August 17th, according to one sheet I have here.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. And all right. So that's events, facilities. Cove sort of goes into the department head report. And so
Diane, the Cove. Yep. Should I do a Facebook update? I haven't done one in a while on the Cove, like what's happening. So
I think you need to, well, we had to vote on it tonight. So yes,
okay.
Good. So we have voted to spray the Cove. Dory,
so when are we opening it? Is it official? Like do we have to get Board of Health?
That's going to update on the bees.
Right.
I'm going to give you a full update.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, ready? So on the bees. So anyway, so they are if the commission votes tonight, we have a company in place. It's A1 Extermination, and they can come and they'll spray. What they have to do is spray. Oh my God, what's the word? I can't think of it.
Diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, just stuff. And so they'll spray it, and what they can do is spray it. They'll get it tomorrow morning because they don't typically have it because they usually just have whatever pesticide, but they want I can't think of the word. So they can spray actually Thursday morning. So what that means, Wednesday morning. Tomorrow morning they will spray, and we have to close the Cove for 24 hours so we can open the Cove Thursday morning.
Excuse me, Dory.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Tuesday.
Right. So they can spray after we hang up tonight. If we get the vote, I will call him and he will get it scheduled that he can buy the stuff tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and he will spray Wednesday. That means the Cove needs to be closed Wednesday morning, but opened up Thursday morning, 24 hours later at 9 o'clock, so we can have movie night. The cost is $750 because it's not chemical pesticide, it's environmental. So then the following week, he would want to spray again on Monday. Same thing, close the Cove 24 hours, and that would, cure the problem. So that's $750 twice. So if I get the vote tonight, I will call him after we hang up, and he will schedule it to make that happen. If, you know, that he said that it's a 3-week cycle. The bees are going to be there. They definitely want to do organic stuff. They don't want to do pesticides because kids and dogs are going to be digging up. The bees don't live in the sand. They lay their eggs there. So the kids and the dogs are digging up the sand, and the females are the protective ones and will sting. And that's the bites that we've gotten from and they're going to be there 3 weeks. So that's the best I could do, was get this organic spray that's going to be good for the environment, good for everybody. And it only means closing the cove 2 days and getting the problem solved. But it's $50 twice.
I just worry about, is it going to be enough for movie night? Like, is it going to be enough time?
Yeah. Oh, that's what he said. Yeah. Once you spray once, that was the point. Yeah.
Okay.
Said, no, that's, yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, you can do it. And that's the idea. And then they come back again a week later because it kills them right immediately. And then they may come back, whatever, because it's not as effective as, full, pesticides. So, yeah, chemicals. So,
Frank?
Exactly. So, anyway, that's
Frank,
what he
go ahead.
suggests. So,
so do they have any kind of guarantee on that service? So after 2 weeks, we're still getting bees there? Do they come back and spray another one? Or you said that he guaranteed that they would be, is that like a guarantee? So in 3 weeks, we're not going to have the same issue?
Oh, I don't know. He just sent me probably 2 hours ago, the contract. And I said, I'm going to a commission meeting tonight to get the vote. So I'm doing everything. So I'll look at that, and see what that says. I don't know if there's any guarantee at all.
There usually is. There usually is with that
stuff.
They
usually say after, in the first 60 days or something like that, you won't see any of them back, or else we'll come and spray for free. I had Yellow Jacket Nest over here before. I'm just making sure we're not in the same place. So.
Yeah, I just have everything in place, assuming the vote's going to go affirmative. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But if it does go affirmative, he'll send me all that tomorrow. So I'll be able to answer that question tomorrow.
Brian has his hand up, Diane.
Brian, go ahead.
Melissa, I would probably recommend now, Dory, I'll ask the question first. Now, this guy is coming back on Thursday morning to make sure these things are gone. Is that what I'm hearing? Or are you just opening the gates up on Thursday morning and hoping that...
Right. No, he's not coming. So what his plan is, if we vote this affirmatively tonight, he will send it out tomorrow morning, which is Wednesday, close it for 24 hours. Thursday morning, you can open it. And he's saying that, tomorrow's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Close it. Spray, close, open Wednesday. And then he's saying that will, take care of the problem, but it's not effective as toxins and needs to do it a week later.
Right. No, I got that part. I guess what I'm looking for is, we'll say he does this thing on Wednesday, and, if life was perfect, then there would be a guarantee there, but it isn't. Maybe this might be a plan B thing for you, Melissa, where if for some weird reason they're not gone Thursday, you might have to find another place to do the movie.
Yeah, you could put up at the lodge.
Well,
Right.
that was my plan. That was my plan in my head, to put the screen up in that parking lot and have people just park at the Cove and then park at the bridal cottage and then walk up and then set up their camping chairs or whatever. And we could do the movie all in that grassy area.
Right.
Yeah. So that it's not the end of the world. It's just like, is the Board of Health going to go down and check it out like Thursday morning? I just want to make someone official check it out and say, okay, yeah. I don't want to be responsible for kids getting stung on Thursday night.
No, I have been, Gil and I have been in touch. I mean, we talked twice tonight just before the meeting. So we are every step of the way on the same page. So don't worry about that. That's the plan. I think that's the best we can do at this point. My recommendation would be to vote for it, and then we'll just keep you in the loop, and keep the Board of Health and Conservation in the loop, and hope for the best. I can't see any other way.
Okay, can I just ask, just because I'm a little confused on the date story, did he say he would come and spray Tuesday or Wednesday?
I did mess that up. He originally said Tuesday, but then said he has to get the stuff. So Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, if you get the approval tonight,
he sprays
be able to.
Wednesday, we close Thursday.
We close Wednesday morning, and we open Thursday morning. So we'd be able to open for movie night on Thursday.
Okay. Melissa, I'm just going to say, I personally think it's better to err on the side of caution. And I really think we ought to move movie night, be proactive about it, and get it up at the lodge instead.
Yeah.
We can set the screen up on the parking, like on the tar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And have people sitting in the grass.
Oh, this sucks.
It's Camp Kawani.
Ah!
And I know. But I really think it's the safer option.
I mean, the only other thing that I can think of is if I'm sorry, I didn't put my hand up and Audrey had her hand up before me. So the only other thing I can think of is if we can ask the exterminator to come out on Thursday morning just to check that there's no wasps there. And
yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Well,
like someone or the Board of Health or whatever.
If
right,
he's willing,
exactly.
Could you please ask him if he could please come back on that Thursday, because we do have an event, and we would just like his more expert opinion on whether or not it would be a safe situation to have movie night there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And I just want you to feel comfort in the fact that he said 24 hours should do it. You know, you just let that treatment work, 24 hours, it'll be fine. So I'll ask him, come back, tell us it's fine today.
Yeah, and I'll feel very comfortable with that if, you know, and if it's 24 hours and he said, see, I didn't need to check, okay, I'll eat some crow, but then everybody's sick.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Audrey, did you have your hand up?
Yeah. Is it in an area where it, like somebody said earlier, that we could cover it with a tarp? Is it isolated to one area, or is it sort of all over?
No, it's all over.
Is it?
Yeah, no.
They swarm all over.
Yeah.
They're swarming.
But they lay their eggs, you know, in a certain area, but they swarm everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're swarm. There's holes everywhere. They're swarming. It's basically, if you walk out the gate, the whole left side of the beach is completely covered in bees. The right side of the beach, not so much. That seems to be the pattern right now. But you know, you can't have you need the whole beach. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, that, you know, we'll do that. I think he was very good. He's going to come right out. The problem is the expense, but I mean, we have to do it, I think.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to hire A1 Pest Control to use an environmentally friendly pesticide to get rid of the swarming wasps at the Cove for a total cost of $1,500.
So moved.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone want a second?
A second.
Thank you, Audrey. All those in favor? Frank, Malisi?
Yes.
Okay, Joan Frizzetti?
I don't know why there was hesitation there.
Brian Frizzetti?
Aye.
Audrey Flanagan?
Aye.
Melissa Scartese?
Aye.
And I am an aye. So, Dory, go ahead and make that call.
Absolutely.
Dory, can I'm probably going to come on Thursday and just take a look and make sure. I don't know, when you talk to him, the exterminator, if you want to set up a time on Thursday morning just to double check it for him to come back.
Yeah.
I'll meet you just so I can have peace of mind.
Great. Oh, I love that. Okay.
Okay. Just let me know.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else, Dory, under department head?
So anyway, just wanted to say that, you know, the new caretakers that we did hire are fantastic, as Maddie said. And with one of them, you know, has expertise, and the two cabins that have been our problem, one, the pregnant one, as we called it, and the other one that's falling off, and to the tune of $7,000, we were going to have those fixed. I mean, in a professional way. But with the new caretakers that we hired, we were able to, you know, make do, have it lifted up, and there are now 6 beds in each cabin. And this weekend we had the Joe Giovanni's, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, Giovanetti's, and they had the best time, and they were in those cabins. So to the tune of $50 by buying cinder blocks of $2 a piece. we were able to make those cabins habitable, and they had the best time, and it's usable. So I just, to thank the new caretaker, it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
they just did great. So we have those 2 cabins up and running, which is great. And the other thing, speaking of the electric cabin 1 and electric cabin 2 is really dim lighting. And one of the new caretakers, without any electrical work, can get something to put in LED lighting, which would make it bright. It's to be less than $50, but I just wanted the commission to decide if you want LED lighting in electric 1 and electric 2. I think you probably do because it's so dim, but that can be done for under $50 with no electrical work. If you give
Probably
the okay.
energy efficient too.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that the $50 is a one-time investment to save some money. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. So I just didn't want to make an LED change because it's different quality of light. So if you're, as the commission, okay with that, we can do that. We can put LED and cabin 1, E1 and E2. And lastly, just to say that we are booked through November. We are booked 2022 like you wouldn't believe, and booking into 2023. It is a madness. I am telling you, the phone does not ring up. It rings off the hook. It doesn't stop. Emails, everything. So we are doing really, really well.
And
so I want you to feel positive about that.
And that's why it's so important.
We're making a lot of
things.
And that's why I didn't do a financial update today, because I wanted to do it next meeting when I get all the turnovers in and everything's said and done and all the encumbrances are done and we're after the fiscal year into the new year, where we stand, where we're looking for fall town meeting, so everybody understands where we are. But we are looking really good.
And like I said, that's why it's so important to keep these new events coming in with like the Scouts and UMass and everything. That's why we want to make them work, because
stand up.
we will get repetitive,
business. Yep.
Go ahead, Brian.
Just a quick question. When we hired the caretakers, the newer ones, we talked about putting one potentially in the office with Dory. Has that happened, or is it going to happen?
Nope, it's happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it has happened, and I've only had the experience to be with her like maybe one, not enough, like maybe a half a day. She's amazing, and she went to Katie Gibbs, and she's fantastic. So it's good things coming, and she'll be a big help to me. Big help.
Brian, I want to assure you, she will be put there more, but we felt it was important to train all the caretakers on setting up events and cleaning up events and cleaning cabins and the lodge, so that everybody can be called in for certain things. However, in the future, there are caretakers that will be more event-sided rather than facilities, and vice versa. And everybody has their preferred area to work in. So
no, I agree 100%. I mean, I believe 100% in cross-training everybody, but I just wanted to, because I know she's very busy in the office.
Super busy. And I can attest to that, having been in there. So go ahead, Audrey.
So just backtracking a little bit on the new caretakers and a little bit on facilities. I noticed in talking with one of the new caretakers that the highway department came up and did some erosion updates where they filled in, some of the side of the road and the parking areas and stuff. He also mentioned that just in passing that the highway department was going to come and fix some of the erosion that goes down to the ball field. And I just wanted to make sure that caretakers aren't necessarily going rogue with this kind of stuff. I would hate that that we're going to get the highway department to put like crushed asphalt in the woods going down to the ball field. I don't know what the plan was, but I was hoping that, Brian Frizzetti or Brian Smith had been in contact with the caretakers about the erosion and how that's going to be fixed.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I think that's part of the long-term plan. And I think we were waiting on Gordon to work with Brian on that, and then bring anybody else into it that was needed.
Okay.
I don't, sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I know what Melissa's talking about. I did have that conversation. I didn't make any phone calls because I was hesitant as well as what was about going down to the field and what was being talked about. So yeah, I didn't, make any phone calls till it comes before the commission on what the plan is. So just rest assured.
Is Gordon highway?
I did.
No, Gordon is a contractor.
Okay. So I don't know if maybe, Dory, if you can maybe have a conversation with Roger and just make sure that I know his son works for highway. So I'm just worried that he's having side conversations with the highway department to get them to come down, which is great. They, they came down and did the erosion on the road, which looks natural, but I would just hate it if they're making these rogue decisions to do erosion in other parts of the camp without communicating with commission
Audrey,
members.
I completely agree. And he mentioned that, and, but they said everything goes through, Jameson, who is the highway super. And so I haven't even called him yet. So no, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Thank you very
much. And conservation would definitely need to be part of that conversation.
Yeah, even his son works for the highway, and he said, no, I can't do anything until it goes through management. And I said, okay, I'll take care of it. I'll call. Okay. And I haven't yet. I don't even know what.
But he did do the parking lot, if you want to tell them that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, leveled it off a bit, which we had been asking for in the past. And he did do that, and then moved like the logs and kind of like, defined the parking area, which looks nice. They did a good job at that. And then it was great. Yep. So that looked really good.
And
I
the
know
boulders?
The boulders were dropped off. Yep. 3 boulders. And we'll need highways help at some point to figure out, well, not to figure out, but where we want to place them around. And, and that'd be the fall thing with the ornamental trees and make the front look really pretty. And that'll be nice.
And I want to put the landscaping on the next meeting agenda so that I can solidify everything with Ed Shan. I had another idea that I will present next time. And we can vote on it and move that process. Move that going, get that going.
Yeah, on the next agenda. Yep, done. Okay.
All right. Is there anything else, Dory?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. So, our next meeting is, did we already decide that? I can't remember if we did or not. I don't think we did.
I don't believe we did.
I don't believe we did either. So today is the 26th.
August 9th.
We can do the 9th. If everybody's okay with that.
Yep.
We could do the 9th and the 23rd.
As long as they're in person, because I don't like Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, I know. But tonight, I mean, we have the Eagle Scout ceremony, and
I know.
And yoga was in the pavilion, and
I did suggest that we could meet at the town hall too, if there's ever a conflict.
I did think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not so rarely do we have something on a Monday night.
It's wonderful.
I know, it's good.
It's a great reason to have to do this, and I'm not going to complain about it. And, yes, Maddie, I already have somebody working on lights on the pole as part of the landscaping conversation. So I've already got somebody on it, and you're welcome. Other than that, okay. So this was very productive. Thank you. So let's plan our meetings for the 9th and the 23rd. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Anyone want to second it?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, Melissa Scartesi?
Aye.
Greg Malisi?
Aye.
Audrey Flanagan?
Aye.
Joan Frizzetti?
Aye.
Brian Frizzetti?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Okay. Thank you for coming, Mr. Weeks. And Dory, thanks. Maddie, again, you're the best. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good week.
Aye.
Take care.
Good week.
Bye-bye.